In the upcoming series of Wing Chun videos, I will focus on the internal aspects of the Wing Chun forms. I'm not focusing at all on any way of fighting application of the movements within the forms.
Okay, so let's look at the first form, the Siu Nim Tau, the little idea form. How do we see the foundations of Taoism there?
When you look at the movements of the Siu Nim Tau through the perspective of Daoist and Buddhist internal practices, there are two concepts that are very important for the way movements are initiated. One is the toes getting hold of the ground. The other one is the taking in of the abdomen and lifting of the anus. Together, these two movements send waves through the whole body. They take care that every single movement is done with the whole body, not simply with one part of it. They connect yourself with every single part of yourself, and they connect yourself with the environment.
Can you be more specific about the foot? What can be manipulated and why?
Think of the bubbling well, 涌泉穴, the acupuncture point in the rear part of the balls of the feet. By the way, this acupuncture point is also called long life acupuncture point, 长寿穴. You stimulate this acupuncture point by doing pulsing movements with the feet. By doing that with the help of the abdomen pelvis movement, you generate a permanent bubbling through the whole body. It nourishes the whole body and makes everything alive like the plants in spring. I admit that this wavy movement of the whole body might look weird or at least unfamiliar from an ordinary Wing Chun as a martial art point of view. But when you succeed in integrating your whole body into a movement, the movement gains the kind of fluidity and agility that you can observe in animals like cats. Soft bodies, but very energetic. The mobility you gain is everything else than weak.
So this is a means of developing power?
It is better to look at the movement from a broader healing perspective. Think of the whole field of nourishing life practices, Yang in the Daoist tradition. I recently wrote a short blog post on that topic. In Daoist movement practices, movements should not be done in a way that is sapping energy. Daoist practices are about nourishing. In Daoist movement practices, movements should help you to get rid of imbalances, of hypertension, dysfunction of organs, and generally support a healthy way of life.
Some say strong legs, strong body, or strong core is key to good health. You're saying the soles of the feet are a key.
The movement of the feet is very important, though the feet stay put. Holding onto the ground does not mean any strongly gripping of the ground with the toes. From the perspective of Daoist philosophy, it is a blending movement. That means the feet, particularly the toes, extend. They do not contract. A helpful image might be the growing of roots. The body above the ground gains stability by this movement impulse of the feet. The pulsing with the feet, extending into the ground, creating a better connection with the ground. Water is an important source of life. Stimulating the bubbling well acupuncture point, 涌泉穴, in the rear part of the balls of your feet, by these pulsing movements, sends life impulses into the whole body.
You're suggesting here that we give special, initial attention to our relationship with the ground below us and to integrate. And you're saying this is core to the Wing Chun, fundamental to the system.
Let's look at the name Wing Chun for a second. In the Wing Chun circles, Wing Chun Kun,咏春拳, is usually just understood as the martial art of Wing Chun. But because of the special characteristics of the Chinese language, different characters with a very different meaning can have the exact same pronunciation. When you hear someone say Wing Chun Kun, this can therefore also be understood as the fountain of eternal youth. The name Wing Chun Kun therefore clearly points towards Taoist nourishing life practices, especially if you consider the importance of the bubbling well for the practice of the Siu Nim Tau, Yin Tau, in its energy-providing capacity in the name of the Wing Chun stance, Yin Yang Ma, which also points towards this life-giving capacity by sending impulses right through and into the genital area. The character for Ram, Yang, the Ram posture of the legs, has the same pronunciation as the Yang of Yin Yang, here pointing towards the main genital area. And this goes together with the waves generated by the abdomen and pelvis movement, the taking in of the abdomen and lifting the anus, Qigong Lian Fu.
Tell me more about the integrated pulse from the bubbling well point in the foot and the abdomen and pelvic floor.
To get a better feeling for this movement, you can put one hand on the abdomen and the other one on the back on the sacrum and feel how this wave goes through the spine, how it comes up through the legs, goes down through the legs, through the feet, into the ground, comes up again. It is a continuous wave movement going down and coming up.
I expect this wave movement to become more visual when we get to the arm movements, and they amplify the action.